Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we cut through the noise, take all the reports, the stats, the analysis, and give you the core knowledge you need. Straightforward. Today, we're jumping right into the thick of the Premier League. Not just looking at a scoreline, but really dissecting a huge moment, one that definitely sent some tremors through the title race. We've got a solid fact-checked report right here covering a massive clash.
That's right. And our job today is to go deeper than just who won. We need to unpack the key events, think about the players' mindsets, look at the dates around this Arsenal win over Newcastle United. People are calling it a statement victory, a big one.
Okay.
So we need to figure out what that statement really is and, crucially, what it means for Liverpool, who were leading the pack.
Right, let's anchor this. The core event. Arsenal's 2-1 Premier League win against Newcastle. Sunday, September 28, 2025. A result that's already shaping the story of this season. Okay, let's get into the game itself. Looking at how it started, Arsenal were, well, seemingly in control, weren't they? Loads of possession, something like over 70%. Yeah, possession-wise, dominant. But, as we know, possession doesn't always equal goals. It started tough for them, actually. What was Newcastle doing tactically to sort of blunt that early Arsenal pressure?
Well, they went with a classic approach, really. A disciplined, low block, very organized defensively. It meant Arsenal had the ball, sure, but mostly in front of Newcastle, passing it side to side.
Right.
Newcastle were basically forcing them wide, staying compact, and just waiting for maybe a mistake or their chance on the break.
And that chance came.
It did. Patience paid off for them, big time. 34th minute, a really sharp counterattack. And Nick Wolpmade, their forward.
A summer signing.
That's the one. Been quite impressive since coming over from Germany. He finds the net. Suddenly, Newcastle have that vital 1-0 lead.
Right, so that goal obviously cranks up the pressure on Arsenal at home. But maybe the key moment of that first half, the one that could have just changed everything, came pretty soon after. A very controversial VAR call.
Oh, yeah. That was huge. And you think about the psychology there. Arsenal's big striker, Victor Gyökeres, he bursts into the box, and Newcastle's keeper, Nick Pope, brings him down. Now, first look, everyone's thinking penalty. Looked pretty clear-cut.
Looks like a definite trip. But no penalty given after VAR had a long look.
Yeah.
What was the specific sort of technical reason they gave, the justification for waving it away?
Well, after what felt like ages, the VAR ruling was that Pope just, and I mean just, got a fingertip, a tiny touch on the ball before he made contact with Gyökeres.
Ah, the slightest touch.
Exactly. That tiny detail cancels out the foul, technically speaking, so no penalty. And for Arsenal, who were already finding it hard to break Newcastle down, that decision just amplified the frustration massively. It basically said, okay, now you need 2 goals against a keeper who's clearly playing well, and you're not getting any help from the spot.
And thinking about Arsenal's season so far, that feeling of needing a late breakthrough, relying on grit, it's been a bit of a theme, hasn't it? We saw just days before, didn't we?
Yeah, the City game.
Gabriel Martinelli's equalizer, 93rd minute against Manchester City on September 22nd. So this game suddenly felt like a big test.
Yeah.
Is that resilience real, repeatable, or just occasional good fortune?
Exactly. That's the question they were facing. They were struggling to convert possession into clear chances. It felt like they almost collectively decided, right, if slick passing isn't working, we just have to grind them down. Persistence.
And that persistence led to quite a second half, but a lot of that drama was down to one man, Nick Pope, in the Newcastle goal. He was, frankly, outstanding.
He really was an absolute masterclass in goalkeeping. For large parts of that second half, he was almost single-handedly keeping Arsenal out. The report mentions some key moments. Leandro Trossard hit the post, agonizingly close. But Pope himself pulled off, incredible saves, point-blank stops against Eberekis, Eze, and then Jurrien Timber. Proper match-defining saves. Those kept Newcastle ahead deep into the game. For, maybe 80 minutes? He was the main reason they were still leading.
And this is where it gets, classic Premier League, why people watch it globally. You have 80 minutes of this heroic defending, Pope playing out of his skin, and then the last 10 minutes, just utter chaos.
The dam finally broke, didn't it? That constant Arsenal pressure just became too much. Newcastle's defense, probably exhausted, finally made a mistake, left a gap.
And the equalizer came when?
84th minute, a good cross came in, and Mikel Merino, who'd pushed up, met it really well. Powerful header, 1-1.
Okay, crucial goal. Tactically important, too, proving that sustained pressure can work.
Definitely. It showed that if you keep knocking, eventually the door might open.
So, a point rescued? Maybe feeling like a decent result given how long they trailed. But the real story, the unforgettable ending, That came deep in stoppage time, way deep.
Yeah, generous stoppage time, but they used every second. The clock's gone past 95 minutes. Arsenal force a corner. You can just imagine the tension. And then the winner, 96th minute. The defender, Gabriel, he'd come forward for the set piece, gets on the end of the corner, powers the header in, 2-1. Snatched right at the very end.
Incredible. And the pictures told the story, didn't they? Gabriel sinking to his knees at the final whistle, fists clenched. Pure relief, pure triumph.
Exactly. You don't see that kind of reaction for just any old win. That meant something huge.
So let's connect the dots. What does this specific dramatic comeback mean in the bigger picture? The Premier League title race. Why is everyone calling this a statement win?
Well, the statement, I think, is about belief. It's about fitness, maybe tactical patience, too. The manager, Mikel Arteta, he called it that because it showed his team can win even when they're not at their best, and crucially, they can win late.
Right.
They didn't just settle for 1-1 after equalizing in the 84th minute. They kept going right to the absolute final second. Arteta praised their, quote, performance, competition, and chance creation, saying we fully deserved it, even though it took until the 96th minute from a set piece.
Okay, but let me push back slightly on that deserved part. If they dominated possession but struggled to score from open play, needing a 96th minute set piece, is that truly deserved dominance? Or is it maybe more about wearing the opponent down until luck, or maybe sheer will plays its part?
That's a fair question, and it's where the analysis gets interesting. You could argue the dominance was deserved in terms of creating the pressure. All those shots, Trossard hitting the post, the saves Pope had to make, that relentless pressure is what earned them the late corner pick in the first place.
I see.
So while the goal itself might have an element of set-piece fortune, the situation leading to it, the sustained intensity, that was very much by design. They used their fitness, their mental strength, right when Newcastle were likely at their most fatigued.
And the impact of this win, psychologically, it's massively amplified because of what happened just the day before, wasn't it? Liverpool slipping up.
Oh, the timing is absolutely crucial. Liverpool, who'd been setting the pace, unbeaten until then, they suffered their first loss of the season on the Saturday, September 27th.
And how did they lose?
Also 2-1. They lost away to Crystal Palace.
And mirroring the Arsenal game almost eerily, that Liverpool defeat also hinged on late drama.
Exactly. A stoppage time winner in that one, too. Scored by Eddie Nketiah for Palace. So you've got the top two contenders facing really tough games over one weekend, and both decided right at the death in injury time. Just shows you how tight things are.
So looking at the league table after that weekend, this win shoots Arsenal right up into second place.
Correct. Suddenly, they're right on Liverpool's heels, just 2 points behind the leaders now.
Wow.
And that makes Gabriel's header feel even bigger, doesn't it? If they'd drawn 1-1, stayed 4 points back, it's a different feeling entirely. 2 points feels like striking distance.
And this whole theme, late goals, deciding big results, it feels like the defining characteristic of this season so far, doesn't it? It's not just Arsenal.
No, not at all. It really makes you wonder if any lead is safe this year. We've seen it again and again. Liverpool themselves needed that incredible 10th minute of stoppage time winner from Rio Ngamoha.
The young prospect, yeah.
Yeah. Against Newcastle way back in August. A 3-2 win decided super late. It suggests maybe the gap between the very top teams and the rest, while there, isn't insurmountable. Games are being decided by fine margins, by who has the energy and focus in those final, chaotic minutes.
Which brings us back to you, the listener. Why should you care about this one specific match beyond the result itself? Because it really captures the whole mental battle of the Premier League. And the perfect example of why you can never switch off, why teams fight to the last second. It shows that elite sport isn't just about tactics, it's about sheer refusal to lose. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways from our deep dive today. We had Arsenal's huge comeback win, fighting back after going behind and after that controversial VAR call.
We saw an absolutely stunning goalkeeping display from Nick Pope, which ultimately wasn't quite enough for Newcastle.
And the timing was everything Arsenal capitalizing immediately after Liverpool suffered their first defeat of the season.
Absolutely. And in moments like that Gabriel header, 96th minute, they're more than just goals. They become part of the season's narrative, don't they? Stories of grit, belief, fitness, the things you need to succeed at this level.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. We've seen both Arsenal and Liverpool relying on these incredibly late, dramatic winners in crucial games already this season. Does this emerging pattern maybe suggest that it's not just about consistent tactical brilliance, but perhaps more about sheer resilience, mental toughness, and maybe even superior fitness in those chaotic final moments? Could that be the real key to lifting the title this year? As the season goes on, one thing seems certain: expect more twists decided right at the final whistle.